Hi everybody, this is Brian Koo with another ROK video, bringing you some imprisoning action from our recent Kingsland War here on the Heroic Anthem map. This player here, Dr. X, was imprisoned, and you can see they have a lot of resources when this thing started. 7 billion resources, only 800,000 troops left. This scout was taken midway through swarming this player down, but they still have the vast majority of their resources at this point. As long as a city has defenses left, then looting them of their resources is rather slow, because you have to get through those troops every time you get the victory and have a shot at some of those resources. And then once your march fills up with resources, of course you have to go back to your city, drop those resources off before coming back out. So at the beginning of this, Dr. X was, doing a bit to protect their resources and slowing us down a bit in our effort to rob them of everything they own. They've got an Eleanor Hera garrison, a pretty decent garrison, but at this point they've made a very, very big mistake, right? They stayed on a flag that was burning down. They were fighting till the very last second on that flag. And then as soon as the flag was destroyed and they were off territory, they did not teleport out in time. This is a very new account. This is a 9-digit account with 1-5 at the front. So this is a very new account, and they just probably didn't think about the fact that we could imprison them. We could imprison them very, very quickly and immediately swarm this low power city that had a lot of resources, right? And there were a lot of people who were on the ball here. You can see that there are a ton of cities teleported very close by. It almost looks like the entire zone has descended on Dr. X's city at this point. They are now completely zeroed, and the looting and burning is in full effect. I get my first loot there. I'm walking from about a minute away, but I'm trying to get as many of these resources as I can. The Imprisoned only has about 5 minutes left at this point. And, this was a lot of resources to get through. As I was doing this, I did not really fathom the possibility that we could deplete this player of all of their resources, right? I was getting 7.5 million resources for every march that I was using. I would end up getting about 50 million resources from this guy. But the crazy thing is that we are going to end up, in about a 6-minute period, we are going to end up removing all 7 billion resources from this player. That means that we were, as a group, we were looting 1.1 billion resources per minute. We were on a timer here with this imprison. We certainly could imprison this player again, but we also didn't know when their shield would be up, right? Because they had War Frenzy on, so that meant that they could not shield to protect themselves from all of this devastating looting. Literally, this is something like 100 marches a minute are looting this player in order to deplete this player as quickly as we do. And there's just nothing that Dr. X can do here other than what they could have done. They could have healed their hospital and let those 700,000 troops, defend the city over and over again. We would have had to swarm it over and over again if this player just kept healing. And I think that's a very interesting decision that they could have made. I don't know if it would have been right or not, because obviously that they would have had to use a lot of speed ups to heal that quickly. And we would have just kept swarming it down and getting pretty good trades on it. But they would have at least saved some of their resources. The thing with Dr. X is this is really natural selection in Rise of Kingdoms on full display, right? Here I am asking for another Imprisoned because I'm thinking like, there's no way they're going to run out of resources. How can they possibly run out of resources that fast? Other people on voice were like, no, we're scouting them. They're pretty freaking low. But Dr. X here, you don't see players making big mistakes like this very often. You don't see that many, if you're in like a bigger KvK, you don't see that many players whose marches are like constantly out of position. You don't get that many zeroings. This is a newer player who made a very big mistake here. Their KvK is so compromised at this point, right? They have no resources to train more troops, and they have no troops to barb chain. They have no troops to go around killing barbs and gathering stuff. Look at this. They're down to 1 billion resources at this point. There's just like a minute left on this Imprisoned, and they've lost it all. They've already lost it all. And at the same time, there are players here on our side who have probably grabbed about 500 million resources, right? These cities that are very, very close by, they've probably gotten something like 500 million resources from this player. I mean, I got 50 or so million, and I was walking from a minute away. So these other players, yeah, I mean, they just got a ton of resources here. To put it in perspective, I got just under 30 million kills in this KvK, and I used 11 billion resources to get there. There's the teleport out. The Imprisoned is done. The city has escaped. But the question is, does the city have anything left at all to live another day? They don't. They are completely emptied of resources. It just happened that fast. Pretty amazing stuff here in Rise of Kingdoms. The fastest looting I've ever seen happen. And it was a sweet little cherry on top of a Kingsland victory for us. Do throw a like on this video if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Well over half of you are not subscribed to my channel. More footage from this KvK coming up. More zeroing videos coming up very soon, so subscribe so you don't miss it. And until next time, I will see you all on the flip side.